Hello, hello. Happy Sunday and welcome back to the UpSet podcast. We're so happy that you joined us this evening. And when I say we, you know I'm talking about the most magnificent crew in all the land, the Upsetters. Hey, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know, right? To say 2023. We're already here.
Amen.
I feel like the 20s are really going by fast. I mean, I don't know if the pandemic helped with that, but I feel like it was 2020 and then it was 2023. I don't remember 2021, 2022 was a flash.
It was all a blur.
Yeah. Now we're 2023 and hoping some things will settle. So what's been going on this week? You know, this is a holiday week, going from Christmas to New Year's. What's been in your timelines? I know one of them, Southwest Airlines was causing a big stink during the holidays.
Yep.
I know personally a lot of
Was
people.
that with the luggage thing? I didn't hear
No,
much.
how about cancellation?
Stranded.
Straight
Canceled
cancellations.
flights. Yeah.
Baggage. Yeah.
They pledged
Oh.
to kind of get it straight, you know. But
Well, who had the baggage issue? Because bags were everywhere. Was
yeah,
that-
it was Southwest as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of
That was
issues.
part of it.
Yeah.
It was really big.
Yeah.
But I think that Southwest, I've flown Southwest for a lot of years and they've been fairly efficient and on time.
Yeah, they
and
were
all.
always really good.
But
Wonderful
I think
culture.
the pandemic really, messed up their flow. With pilots being out and mandates and, there's so many things that affected the airline. But I was talking to someone who said they also felt it was their technology for scheduling and
Yes.
assigning crews is flawed and needs to be redone.
Yep. So it was ultimately an IT issue.
Mhm.
And so, but I believe that Southwest will bounce back. They have an awesome culture.
Oh, sure.
And they're going to have
Absolutely.
this amazing sale where you can fly one way for $20 and the other way for $500.
Yeah, companies like that always bounce back. But how did you guys enjoy your Christmas, your time with family?
Christmas was great for me. Great.
Oh,
Not a
quiet
large
and cheap.
crowd. Yeah.
Quiet and cheap.
Quiet and cheap.
What's wrong with that?
Not so cheap, but it was quiet and nice. Food was great.
Yeah, nothing beats with food. It's
Yeah,
like-
I enjoyed
Even
this.
collard greens. So
I feel like it was my daughter's first opportunity to really enjoy and
yeah.
rip open the boxes, and she was really engaged and involved.
You
and-
bought her a gift, GP?
I did. I was not a Grinch.
Let me like, you're not getting the gifts yet.
Yeah. So I did give her some things, and she was smiling and happy. And
Aw,
I know
love
she'll
that.
never forget that experience.
Amen.
Hey, there are a couple of timeline things I wanted to mention, you guys.
Sure.
Not to take it over Christmas, of course, the loss of Pele.
that's right, the soccer player.
Mhm.
That was major.
Legendary.
There aren't too many athletes who pass away that it affects the entire world.
Sure.
Mhm.
And he's 82 years old, and he when he came off of the field, officially retired, he was quite a philanthropist. Did a lot of things to help his people, did a lot of things to help Brazil. So
Yeah.
they consider him a great icon. So
Mhm.
that's a great loss, not only to the sports world, but to culture, for Brazil. But, there's one other thing I found, guys, and I said, I got to put this in because it relates to an episode that we did
Okay.
this year. President Biden just signed a bill. It's called HR 7132, or called the Safe Connections Act of 2022. He just signed that into law. And what that means is an abused person can separate their cell phone service from the abuser without cost. And according to the bill, the cell phone carrier has to do it within 48 hours. So, there are some people that are going through situations and their cell phones are combined. You have like a family account and so with that, the abuser can track and can monitor and can harass. But there's a new bill in place now, an abused individual can call the carrier and say, what the situation is, and give them a separate account, separated from the account, and a new number.
That's
Oh,
great.
very
That was
good.
just signed like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So keep that
Yes,
in mind.
life
Those
safety.
of our
Mhm.
audience, you may have family, or yourself are going through something, and you need to have a cell phone that can't be tracked or controlled by an abuser. As of today, you can call your carrier and say, hey, the only thing that they pushed back on was that the Internet Frontier Foundation said the only thing about the bill is that they were requiring the abuser to show proof that they're being abused.
That's what I was gonna say. Are they
They
required?
said, that's
Oh, good
ridiculous.
How do you
grief.
do that? Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So that part of it they're going to work out, and I think it's carrier dependent. But I just thought I'd mention that,
Yeah.
because we did cover this topic
That's
at
very
least once.
important. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. And during the holidays, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I feel like there's like a lot of heightened crime and particularly
Mhm.
domestic crime. I was listening to one story, or reading about one story, I think it was in New York, about a husband who ran over his estranged wife with the kids in the car.
Wow.
He had her
During
come outside.
right now?
Mm.
Over the
This was
holiday?
over the holidays. Had her told her to come outside. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And so he was like, I'm outside. And as soon as she walked out, he just rammed right into her with the car with the kids inside. So the kids who were like 11, I think like from 11 to 6, three of them,
Mm.
they were the ones who were able to tell the police what happened. So can you imagine that watching your
Crazy. Sick world.
and I mean, fortunately she's alive, but
I was
she's
about to
pretty
ask
much
if she died.
It's very
like,
traumatic for
pretty
the
much in a
children as well.
vegetative state at this point. But it was just so tragic to just hear these kinds of things going on.
I hope he is put under the jail.
Yes. Yeah. It
You're not
was,
getting out because that's cruelty times two. You don't even
yeah.
care about the children.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot going on. Lot going on. Well, we have a topic today that I mean I think is fitting for the new year. I mean, new year, fresh start. A lot of us are thinking about ways that we can improve life in general. And I think last year we talked about New Year's resolutions versus whatever. But I don't
Revolution.
even yeah, that's right. Good. You remember that. But this time we're kind of going to focus on goals because goals are something that you can set at any point in any time in your life, in any stage
Short
of the
term,
year.
long term. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so it doesn't always have to begin at the new year. We were talking earlier how some of us had already started making goals for some of the things that we want to do and even started before January the 1st. And so, but it's always important, I think, to be intentional about what you're trying to do with life. And so we decided this would be a great topic for us to start off season 3. Actually, this is officially season 3, guys. So
Wow.
We
Wow.
survived 3
yeah.
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Season 3.
And we want to thank all of our viewers while we're there.
Mhm.
Thank all of our viewers for making season 3 possible. We appreciate the positive feedback that we've received from you, and we're looking forward to a great year full of topics that are meaningful to you. And please continue to share with us some of the things you want to talk about. But I digress. Pat, lead us out in this discussion on goal setting. And we said real goals because sometimes we can get a little carried away with our goal setting. So
See, and that's strange. She's going to start off by saying real goals, like, and that's why I like that goals are personal, because it's a way for you to be able to figure out what's important in your life, what's satisfying in your life, what is going to help you succeed, and what's essential to be able to succeed. I'm glad that we have the opportunity of coming together. I miss Tally because is whatever Tally would talk about would bring us to another level. But
he's an upsetter.
He is a true upsetter. But as we have been going on for the past couple of years, 2 years or so, we're in our 3rd season. When we meet every Tuesday, we're always setting some type of goal to where we have to attain. And I'm just talking about, I don't even call this work because this is so much fun.
mm-hmm.
But in our own private lives, we strive to come up with an action that's going to make us better in life. And what normally happens to us, and hey, I would like to read the Bible through, which is, it's been a while since I've read the Bible through. Here go upsetters. Here we go. But then again, sometimes I start in January and end in January.
But maybe
you must be
maybe
listening to the Bible.
But maybe
you
you
go.
have here a little and there a little.
Right.
I should have used something else like a concordance. I shouldn't even have said the Bible. But why I think this is important for us to discuss is because there's one of you are going to be listening to this. I'm talking to our upsetters outside who are going to listen to us and say, hey, listen, if I could just get one thing done, how better life will be down the road. Just one of the things that I like to mention all the time is a baseball player. You always hear when a baseball player gets up to bat, you see his stats in the corner. And some of them you see 195, 0.195. Some of them you see 0.200. But the best players, the best sluggers is 0.300. 0.300. Now, sometimes we look at it and say, wait a minute. But when a pitcher is pitching against a batter that says 0.300, his pitching stance changes because at 0.300, he's one of the best hitters that's out there. Now, I want to interpret 0.300 to you. It means out of 10 pitches, he's able to hit it 3 times. And that's considering him one of the best players on the field.
Wow.
But if we look at setting 10 goals and only coming across with 3, it'll look as though we have failed or we have not gotten to the place where we've gotten. So I want to let everyone know that, there's some goals that you might miss. Set more goals. And I think we were talking in the green room before, Chuck, but it's going to come out now that you have to attach some habit to another habit that worked before. So anyway, I want to put it out to you heard my Bible one. Lord help me. But I
listen to it, Pat. Listen to it. You get it done in a month.
You're right. Tell me that at the end of the show. You know what I mean? Because it caused, and I'm going to say this, gang, it caused a little bit of anxiety to say, I want to do it. But you have to set up some type of plan in order for it to work out, right? And of course, I have some that I'd like to share later on as we talk together. But reading the Bible through is one of them. Guys, without getting Websterish on me, what is a goal to you? What is a goal?
Well, from Philadelphia Eagles' point of view. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
We could come up with
anyone.
What a goal is. But I'm saying if somebody walked up to you now, hey, what is a goal? Marlena, what is a goal? I don't even want you to think about, sounding pulpiteer, like a pulpiteer. What is a goal to you?
Goal is something that I set personally that I plan to obtain, something that I plan to achieve in a certain period of time. Sometimes I might have to do short-term goals to get to my long-term plan, but it's something that I really want to obtain. I live by this. I used to hear this slogan all the time, but I live by it. If I fail to plan, then I plan to fail.
Wow.
And so my personality is sanguine, mostly sanguine. And when I was reading this book, Just Wired That Way, and it gave me the characteristics of my personality, it says that you rarely complete any task. I said, how true. I don't read a book all the way through. I don't, I move from one thing to the next, because my mind is always shifting, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to say, oh, I better write things down. And as I achieve them, I check it all. So every day, even when I have my short-term goals, I have to make sure I check it because now my mind is all over the place and I haven't completed something. So that's what a goal is.
To speak to that about, having so much to do with your new plan, I've studied in it, and I personally have felt this because I've failed so much in reaching goals that you should start easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Start real easy. And there was a story that I came across about a Stanford University psychologist who dealt with, goal setting, but he realized it meant behavioral change. And so the story goes that he knew he had to floss his teeth, and he wanted to start a new habit of flossing.
That's a real goal. Yeah.
So he started with one tooth. He would get up and floss one tooth, and get up the next day, floss one tooth, and then he started flossing 2 teeth. And then as the week went on, it was 3 teeth. So his point is, you want to, floss.
It's like I'm feeling away. You got me.
You get tired. You got all these. But anyway, the illustration is, if you set a goal, be realistic and start easy. Don't.
Yep. GP, what you saying? Go ahead.
For a goal. A goal is simply a wish with a plan. So wish plus plan equals goal. Wish without plan equals wish.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's important to think that in order to set goals, you really have to do some self-reflection, because all goals are not created equal, as we said. Everybody has different goals. You can't take somebody else's goals and think it's going to satisfy you. So it really takes some introspection on your part to see what kind of life do I want to live? What do I want for myself, my family? And then how do I plan to get there? Because
really
if you don't start there, you'd be all over the place.
Right.
Yep. There's a term in this whole discussion in my research. It's called alignment. You should be careful to be aligned. And what does that mean? Many times our inward self is not our outward self.
Right.
So we are who we are inside, but we're someone else when we go to work. We're someone inside, and then we're somebody else when we go to church.
Oh, I was about to say, and church. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the point is, whoever you are inside, whoever you've agreed, this is me, that has to be me externally.
Right.
It can't be someone else.
Yeah.
So
I had a pastor friend of mine whose name will not be revealed here. Many years ago, we were in a discussion. No, it wasn't him.
Yeah, let's talk about him. He's not here today.
He said, as a pastor, he is one man during the week, and he's a different man on Sabbath. And he unpacked that. And it was an awakening for me, because you have these preconceived thoughts about pastors, and they're holy people and they do everything right. So
oh my goodness!
He said, I'll be honest with you, Chuck. He says, I'm a different man during the week. Now it wasn't that he was robbing banks or whatever. It wasn't like that. Right. But he knew consciously and behaviorally he was not the same person. So he's out of alignment.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think when you're out of alignment, it's harder to achieve your goals.
And if I might add to Chuck, to that alignment is passion. I think, unless you are passionate about something, because even like GB said, you can wish it, but if that wish is not filled with passion, and a drive, it's not going to be done. Like prime example, you want to lose weight, how you start out, really good, because some of this, I'm so tired of this. I'm tired of 3 stomachs. I really gotta.
3 stomachs. That sounds like something.
Get rid of this. Y'all seen the
science fiction?
Man, no, it's not. I was preaching on Sabbath. I was like, I have 2 stomachs. I said, oh my goodness. And so you have to, to really get rid of that, you got to have some passion. Maybe look in the mirror every day, undressed, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Something that really drives you. And you look at people who really want to be great singers or athletes, and you got to have that passion to practice, so that you become the best. And so if we don't have passion for stuff, it's just, as GP said, a wish that's unmet.
Yeah. GP, can you say that again? Because I know one of our listeners was trying to write that down. Can't rewind it right now.
Yeah. One last time for those in the back. So a wish without a plan is just a wish. So a goal is a wish and a plan. And I might add passion.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. What I wanted to point us in direction, because I'm listening to everyone here, and there's some things, there's some goals that we go at alone. Some we go at alone. There's some goals, though, that we go along with family or friends or somebody who's going to help you along.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, Marlena. I told you guys not to do this, to come up with a definition, but one that I saw here, the process of deciding what you want to do and achieve, because we already said it. The other side of it is, or what you want someone else to achieve over a certain period of time. Marlena, you mentioned.
So you said I have a goal that I want somebody else to achieve?
No, not necessarily
for them, maybe.
For them, two ways.
I
Because
know.
it could be a family goal. Okay, it could be a family goal, and that will,
or team goal,
you know, like how when we meet on Tuesdays and we talk, which we should record, because
that's when all the good stuff happens.
But
no, we can't put it on YouTube, though.
no.
It'd be a Jerry Springer podcast.
That is when we'll have to set a goal to find another job. So but it's what you want to achieve for someone else. So I see accountability when you involve some people in some of your goals. There's an accountability there. But it's also good to bring somebody along with you on that journey. So I know that we have some goals, and you know, we're going to intertwine all of this. I want us to come up with, because some of us have already started our goals for January. Right. Matter of fact, January is not even in our purview. Sometimes the holiday season makes you say, I'm going to start doing this right now, even before January 1. All right, I'm putting everybody in the hot seat. Let me call Tally too. I'm putting everybody in the hot seat. What is a goal that you have? Okay, I'll start with me, so it could be easy going around. What is a goal that you have that you want? Forget the time, but just the goal. Okay, don't the time frame. Here's mine. If I'm not using it,
you're losing it.
Get rid of it.
Selling it. Or giving it to GP.
Oh yeah, I started that goal some time ago.
I'm a tech fan of everything. I like toys. So for me, I looked around my area and found out that half of the stuff that I have, I don't use. If I'm not,
and probably never need it.
Chuck, I didn't ask you to add along. This is I didn't. That's
well, you know, I'm a tech head too. You know,
I'm
a tech head too. I got a dumpster right in the back of the media center here, filled with crap that I kept around because I didn't want to let go.
Eat apart or something.
So that is. I'm not on a time frame yet, though. I need to put a time frame on it. I realize I have a piece of software, GP, that cost me about $3,000. But I only use one plugin on all of those that I bought. I could have bought that one for $29.99.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a goal. That's one goal that I have. Don't judge me. Boy, I can see it now.
Can I give you a suggestion, Pat?
Yes, go ahead, please.
There's a website or app called Mercari, Mercari, where you can sell, kind of like Facebook or Let Go. You can sell your items. And I've done it over the past month where any gadget that I don't use, I sell it. And I'm getting things that I know I need or want to use.
Right.
Yeah, Let Go is a good
Mercari is a great place, or Let Go or Offer Up, just to get some money.
There are so many places. Yeah.
Get rid of it. GP, what's the last thing that you bought? Because I know you're a tech man.
I bought 2 Stream Decks, but I did sell my Zoom L8. And so I got rid of that, and I got another camera and 2 Stream Decks.
Okay. And to be honest with you, we have to be it has to be something realistic. It has to be something realistic. The goal set has to be realistic. Okay, Marlena, we're coming straight to you. I saw the sideways smile.
I'm looking at GP. All of that way over my head. I got a camera in the computer. That's all I need.
Come on, hit us with a goal. Even if it's a wish, okay, everybody? Even if it's a wish. What do you have in mind?
I got one.
Marlene?
So I have about 3 books inside of me, and I got to get them out.
Published? Oh, you're gonna write a book.
All right.
I need to finish one. I have 3 already. Like they're just in me. I need to execute.
It's in you too, GP. The words, the wording, it's just in you.
Yeah,
we don't like it.
But I have to start with one.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
GP, you know what? Even though you probably have not set a date, right before camp meeting, we're gonna ask you about that book.
Okay, great.
Right before camp meeting. Right?
This is accountability.
Yeah.
I heard an interview with an author on the same subject of goals and getting things done and whatever, and he said that he had like 3 or 4 books, that he's successfully written, but he said it took him longer than it should because he tried to make the books more complicated than they needed to be. And he said when he went into a simple process mode, he got it done. 4 books, just banged them right out. And so it's like, I guess, a manuscript kind of turned into bullet points kind of thing, because he felt like, oh, nobody's going to pay attention unless it's 600 pages,
right?
24 chapters. And he says, wait, I'll never get this book done.
Right.
So I got to just simplify it and get the main points out there so it'll benefit people.
Isn't it about being attractive or having something that's essential on the table to get it done? GP, also, when you're writing that book, write it for a 6th grader. Depending on what you write.
I can read
it. And put it in audio. I love to listen to books.
Yeah, a lot of people
love that.
That's all right. So that's good, GP. We're going to hold you to that book. Remember, that's just one. You could have more than one goal to start off with, but that's a great goal. Marlene, are we on to you?
I'm here. Well,
go ahead.
So I'm always, I'm very driven passionately with my work. So there's a lot I want to do with my church and really just grow the family, grow the ministry, grow our outreach and what we're doing. The reason I went back to school was to do this ministry that God had given me maybe a few years ago when I was at my previous district, and it is to help broken women in bad pregnancies and families of domestic violence. And we have a building.
Sound like a dissertation.
God's blessed us with 4 buildings, and one is a smaller house. And so the plan is to really fix that house up very nicely. I mean, it's when I say fix it, we're going to decorate it to make it appealing, to women so that we can meet with them privately, in the building, maybe once a week or something like that, and provide, excuse me, guys, counseling and support. Because my theory is if a woman is in a bad pregnancy and is on the verge of abortion, can emotional support and financial support alter that decision? Because I've met some people along the way who's like, Pastor, I want to talk to you about something. I said, okay. And when we meet, says, you can't tell anybody. I says, okay. And then we find out that they had an abortion or 2 or 3, right? And they were so shamed that it still haunts them today. And they're like, but you don't know my mindset. You don't know the trouble I was in. So I said, we can meet people right there, not being judgmental, not telling them what to do. The decision will be theirs, but just walking with them, praying with them, will that alter that decision? So that was my thesis for my final project in school. And so we're starting this program, just sharing it. So many people, women want to start that at their church. Once you get your program and pilot it, we want, to start that in our area. Someone's already donated $1,000 to me for that, and so the house is in, pretty good shape. We just might, a little fresh paint, maybe new look, flooring on it, just to make it look real nice. But $1,000 can cover that. Have them come up.
That's what I'm saying. Marlene, when I hear you talk about that, I mean, if you will, and it's only because I've read a couple of books over the past 3 months that I feel like I'm a superstar in goal setting right now. Hope that holds key. But one of the things, I mean, you named a whole bunch of things and a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm grateful for that, and I love it. And somebody is sitting down saying, okay, this goal that I have, one of the things is for you to know, you don't have to say it here, what is going to look like. What's the success? What do you consider success to be at the end of that? All right, that's
if
one.
I help, for me, if I help one woman, one family, that's success. And I know you said I started with a lot, but it's the plan is all here and written, but we have to, now apply it, really go out and do it. I've got connections, or I've been told of several comes because, with the financial part, that's not going to come from us, that's connecting with the right agencies and companies to help this and to have people that are resources that, the women that I meet, or, it could be men that are abused, who we will be able to send it, but we have to start it.
That's
what I'm saying? So the goal is to start it.
That's the goal right there. You just said it.
And I have women who are saying, Pastor, when we're going to start this? When we're going to do it, And so, because I've been talking about it, right? And so that's why, and I told my church, we're taking ministry to another level. And I mean, it's good to help people with food. That's very important. But there are also other needs out there outside of food. Because, you go to certain places, no, I'm okay. I'm okay with food, but the house is jacked up. Families jacked up. They're abused. You don't know, in church and out of church. Ding, 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 ding. And so when you can meet people where their issues are, and like even right now, I still carried my hotline, crisis hotline in my church announcements, and I tell my church, I know it's private, but if you're in a crisis, you call that number, and I make sure,
or text you, it just came in with the ding. We heard it. Don't worry about it. No, Marlene, I think that's great. I like what you started off with. You said the goal is to start. That is essential. And you have the ladies that's around you, as you were talking about before. That's accountability to make sure that the start goes along.
That's right.
Goes along with it. Hold on one second, Chuck. I'm right at you. I'm dying to know what yours is.
What my goal? Oh, well, the goal that I've started has been better self-care.
Oh yes.
Listening listening to my body. The body is always sending me signals. You get up in the morning, and
Chuck, call me
I got
later.
a signal. I got a signal this morning too, Chuck. Stay in the bed. That was my signal. Not this morning, but maybe this morning. Some morning, stay in the bed.
Yeah, better self-care, and a couple of those things, because the list could be long. Is of course eating better, and I've already started that months ago, and getting more rest. And being regimented and more methodical about getting in bed in time and getting up. Try not to do late meetings. I've rearranged.
Try not to do what? Hold on.
Huh?
Try not to do what meetings?
That's right.
Late meetings.
All right.
And a lot of times our job calls for us to meet with people after dinner and whatever, because it's their schedule and you're trying to accommodate them. To have less of that. One new goal for me that I've already started practicing is shutting down my use of devices at least 1 hour before going to bed.
Okay, let's move on to someone else real quick.
I figured
they say even before that.
But I've learned though, and there are other goals that I've set and I've already started because I had to reevaluate. There's some goals I was not hitting. And you get frustrated, you set out, I'm going to do this. And then after 2 or 3 months, you're not there yet. You get frustrated, whatever. What I've learned in that process is that I have to be realistic with goals. And I have to plan the goal according to my rhythm. Not someone else's rhythm.
Chuck, that's why Tasha said, I'm not sure. Tasha was saying you have to know you to be able to say, is this thing really attainable? Go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
See, what happens is, and very much with what Natasha was saying, many times we'll set a goal because we're trying to be competitive with someone else.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to do that. How to get me a this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Well, is that you? Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
that's outside
you know
who
what?
you
You're
are.
right. Hold on
Many
one
times
second,
you
because I
don't
was trying to be GP. Let me just change that color. Go ahead now. Go ahead.
That's your new goal.
We're going to the 5 minutes that just passed, but
Yeah.
no, but I
But
get it.
respecting my own rhythm, because I know that if I want to set realistic goals, I've got to do it according to my rhythm, not someone else's.
Yeah.
And start smooth, you know. So one is well, two, better self-care.
Yeah.
You know, and
you sound
that
like you
way
have
I know I
passion
can
about
achieve
that.
more when I do that.
Yeah, you sound like you have a little passion there.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
mean,
I do,
I'm
because
even influenced by it.
because I you know, we talked about it in one show called Slow Living. You know,
Yeah.
once
My
you
favorite
see the
show.
results of that practice,
Yeah, you need more of this.
you
Yeah.
get hooked. You go, wow, I feel so much better in the morning, or wow, you know. And when you start seeing the results and feeling the results, it's easier to make that goal. But you got to match the goal setting to your rhythm, who you are, not your neighbor, not your brother, not your dad. You know what I'm saying? You have to see who you are, and then you can make realistic goals. Because what's more discouraging, to set a lot of goals and don't hit any of them.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Because they're not you.
And that can set you back.
Yeah.
That could even that could set your mindset back and your thinking back. So that's why I love it, Chuck. I didn't like it.
And I might add, you know, because I'm older, you know, those things come to mind quickly. When you get older, self-care becomes priority.
You should. Yeah.
Because stuff stopped working.
Yeah.
And you gotta, like, you know, okay, I gotta deal with this. You know, but you know, God requires us.
Yeah.
That's a requirement.
Oh yeah.
Even a whole 1 day a week he does, right?
Right. And when you put
out.
spiritual perspective of the body being the temple.
You preaching now, Chuck.
When we neglect our bodies, we are neglecting
the temple.
You fill in the blank.
That's right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're sure right about that.
Definitely
agree. Latasha, our producer with many hairstyles, what is your goal?
We're gonna let that go, okay?
That's a tally thing. I had to add that in because he probably would have added that in if he were here. But no, let's hear a goal.
Okay. Well, before I share, I do want to say to Charles, I hope one of the self-care goals is for you to take a vacation. That's my goal for you, to go on a vacation.
That's good.
So
you know,
that's your goal for me. Okay.
Yes.
Right. And you know,
send you want my Cash App?
I was like, how is she going to obtain that goal for you?
You know, I could see Chuck on a cruise.
Yeah.
And
I can see
out
me on
and
cruise
he'll probably walk up to the captain and say, "Do you guys have this webcam?"
Well, you know, to be honest with you, my wife and I were on a cruise some, few years back.
I'd like to know how many, but go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah. But we were on this cruise and I took my laptop with me, and she said, "Why you take your laptop? There's not going to be any connection on the ship. What are you doing?" I said, "Well, you never know. I might want to write something. I don't need internet access." But lo and behold, when I got there and got in my cabin, I was like, "Where's the Wi-Fi? Is there any Wi-Fi? Maybe I need to go out on the, on the deck." And I don't know. Yeah, but
this devilish hot spot just don't work on the ocean.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. And I do need to do more. My wife certainly will agree with you on that.
That was for you, Gary.
Surprised she hasn't popped anything in the chat already.
Yeah, right.
Maybe right now. But no, going back to some goals. One of the goals I set was to have more realistic goals this year, because I found myself in previous years setting all these, because I am someone who likes to set goals and I like to set them high. But at the end of the year, you're looking at them, you're like, why didn't I think no, I started off with, why didn't I do that? Like, beating myself up. And then I realized that I wasn't really setting realistic goals for myself. And so I needed to revamp how I was setting goals. So I did. I divided my goals into 4 different sections, financial, personal, spiritual, and just put little achievable goals, because to me, to gain that momentum, You have to create goals that you can achieve so that you can be motivated to do the next one. And with goal setting, they shouldn't be too easy. They say it should be something that is a little challenging.
Right.
But it is okay to kind of put some easy ones in there. And so like I started my list the other week, like for personal, I have little things like read 6 books a year this year. Now, in my mind, it's like, I could read 12. I could read 100. I could read 50. I saw someone who said they had to go to 100. I'm like, maybe I should do that. And I said, Tasha, you know the way your life is set up. If you put a goal of reading 100 books this year, you're not going to do it. Just because you heard someone else say it and it felt like a good goal doesn't mean that needs to be your goal. So I said, I'm going to start with 6 books. Because if I can do 6 books this year, next year I can do 12. And then next year I can do 20. You can increase like that one tooth, like you were saying, Charles.
Wow, the one tooth.
Yeah.
Way, but flossing one tooth, you're catching 2 at the same time. But anyway, go ahead.
What were you saying, Charles?
No, I was just going to say, along those lines, and I think as pastors that are on with us as part of our crew, I'm sure you've learned as you develop your pastoral skills and your preaching skills that in order for you to be successful in even writing a sermon, you have to create an environment.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you don't have an environment for work, you're likely not to achieve your goals. So you really do have to design your environment. You'll set a goal and you'll just keep hitting rock. Why is that? Why? I'm an intelligent person.
Right.
I know what I'm doing. Why can't I get this done? It could be that you're in the wrong environment.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is not conducive to your goal setting. So
very good.
I think environmental design is important.
Yeah, I have a question. So a lot of us have mentioned several goals. Some are professional, some are personal, some are spiritual, financial. So how do you not become overwhelmed with these various levels of goals or aspirations? How do you stick to all of these compartments that you have with your goals?
I think the key is to only put a few under each category. Where you said personal, put 2. Financial 2. Like, don't try to create we know that there are a lot of areas that we can improve in each of those categories, but with goal setting, you have to put 2 or 3. Don't overwhelm yourself because it won't happen. That's not how our minds work. That's not how our brains work. And if you accomplish those 2, move on to the next 2, but don't focus on all of them at the same time. That you're just setting yourself up for disaster.
What I do is block time.
Yeah.
I block. Because I found even here at work or even personally, if I want to make a personal goal realistic, I realized in a management sense, I have to block time for that.
Yeah.
When I come into the office, I know that there's a project I'm working on. I could work on that project all day long.
Right.
But life happens. Reality sometimes doesn't allow that. So I said, okay, I got this important project. I'm going to work on it from 9 to 11. At 11, I stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I move on to the next thing. And that's one of the hardest things to do because you can be passionate about finishing it and getting it done and whatever.
Yeah.
But then you've got 2 other things on your to-do list that are just as important.
Right.
But you keep pushing them back because you're all, so I actually set an alarm. To get up and walk. I know that.
That's good.
Maybe you guys don't have to worry about that. So you're so much.
No, my mind's all over the place.
My alarm will go off, and I even have a smartwatch that says it's time to get up and move. Because otherwise, I can get so engrossed in my work, I could sit in a chair for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
true. Not healthy.
Yeah.
No.
So I want to share something.
Blocking the time, JP, is one of the things I do.
One of the things that I also wanted to share with that is that you have to remember the quality of your goals. Not necessarily the quantity of your goals, but the quality of each one of them. And like you have financial, personal, spiritual, etc., they could be tied in with each other. Especially your spiritual goals should be able to be tied in with all of your goals, right? So that's one of them. The other side of it also is if you overcommit yourself to too many goals, you're going to lose energy.
Right.
So that's just one of the things you don't want to do, is to have too many things going on at the same time. And it's all right for you to say that's not happening right now. I know I wanted to hear one more from Latasha. I'm sure she has like a 20 list goal.
No.
But one of the things that that I also learned is that you have to have a measuring stick for your goals, because there may be a time that you look at a goal, you didn't recognize that that goal is unattainable at that moment, and you have to say to yourself, I have to scrub that one or wait for that one. So some of us have maybe a 10-day or a 20-day or a 30-day. Some of us have a 90-day goal, so that we can get to the point of recognizing that that one is not working right now. I'm going to go ahead and ask for grace. That's a part of your spiritual that we can go ahead and catch up with that. Okay.
But Pat, before
go ahead.
It was something I wanted to say before you transitioned.
Sure.
But because realistically, some people are not that motivated. Period.
Sure.
I mean, if we'd be very honest with all of our listeners, like, I haven't even thought about a goal. I don't even know what I want to do.
I just want to wake up.
I just take one day at a time. That's how I live, one day at a time, you know.
Yeah.
And so I like when you said to not over set goals. You know, you just set one goal.
Yeah.
Just one something. And even you might be impressed or moved from someone else's goal. It says, yeah, that'd be great for my life. Like I heard Chuck, I was like, I know I need to do better self-care, because my mind, I'm telling you the way I'm wired, I'm just always on the move, and I don't tire until later, you know, I just crash out. Right. But I have to, you know, set goals that way. But I just want someone to know that just set one goal, even this one goal the whole year. Most of our goals, when you're saying make them measurable, is to set short-term goals to reach your ultimate goal, you know. And so one might be a short-term goal could be saving, you know, or, you know, planning or connect with someone, or, you know, make some commitments with other people for accountability, you know, all measurable. So once you do something, you're like, oh, I feel so good, you know, I did that. And then once you finally get to that goal that you wanted to, and now it's been obtained or achieved, you're like, going so bad.
I got another goal right there.
Well, what you should
celebrate it when you reach those goals. You ought to be able to celebrate those goals. You know, one of my goals is to stay away from dairy, right? Because of inflammation.
That's not mine.
No, I understand that. But no, but here's the point. The point is that when I reach a certain point, I ought to be able to say to myself, I'm going to go ahead and have that cake, or I'm going to go ahead and have that, because it doesn't make sense to set a goal that's going to make you unhappy.
Right.
The worst vegetarian. I was a very unhappy vegetarian, and it destroyed my Christianity side. No, but I do believe, like Chuck said, I want to move to a healthier lifestyle. Instead of talking about vegetarianism, talk about being healthy. So that vegetarianism will work itself into.
I think we get too tied into diets. Oh, I do the keto diet. I do this. No, just
take care of yourself.
Sit down and plan. Right. And you know what? There, you know, based on what Marlena was saying about people, you know, getting up and just don't want to do anything. They have no motivation. There are studies that tie your health condition to your ability to be motivated.
Oh, sure.
I read a book by a pediatrician who had to deal with kids, and parents these were kids that had predispositions. Some of them had cancer, some of them. And his goal was to get these kids healthier, help them to lose weight, you know, blah, blah, blah. But what they found out in the process of doing this is, as the healthier those children got, the more motivated they became. Because prior to that health change, they just sat around, watched TV. They wouldn't go anywhere. They were they were lethargic. But when they changed that health profile, you know, parents were saying, "Oh my goodness, I got my kid back." You know, because he's healthier. Well, as adults, we're faced with the same thing.
Exactly.
Sometimes you got to ask yourself, you know, when you get up and, I don't feel like that. You know, you got to think of, what have I been eating? Have I been exercising? When's the last time I took a walk? You know, all of it is tied together. And I think that when we make a goal, when it has to do, because quite frankly, I mean, you've heard the saying, no goose, no golden eggs.
That's right.
Right. So when you make your health profile a priority, you are actually addressing multiple goals at
Right.
one time.
No goose, no golden egg. He just did a GP on us just now. No golden egg. Listen, gang, I can't let Natasha get away with giving us that her goal is to have realistic goals. That's not good enough. I want to hear.
Oh, I told you some of them, like, read 6
Oh, yes, you
books
did.
a year. And
But that's based on your rhythm. See,
Yes,
you know
based
what
on
your
my
rhythm is.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And I had self-care on there too, like a self-care day. Now I try to practice self-care daily, but I put on my goal to have a self-care day once a month where it's focused simply on that, whether it's going to get a manicure,
It's an assessment,
a massage, something special outside of maybe what I
okay.
would do at home. So I'm putting things in there that I probably wouldn't do for myself unless I schedule it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's kind of doing things like that. And even financial goals, like, that's one of the areas where I kind of like tried to do too much. And one year's like, I'm going to save $20,000 and I'm like, okay, look at your salary.
Wait, you make $20,000.
I had to like scale that back. Now the goal is pay off that last credit card. You know what I mean? Like, let's stick there. Then we can, save the thousands and thousands.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
leveling back. Yeah.
And going back to what you talked about, Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and this is something that I've been practicing. You'll never quote unquote arrive with certain goal.
There we go. Go ahead, Chuck.
Direction. You'll never arrive. It's ongoing goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to minimalism and when it comes to letting go, every time I walk in a store and I pick up something, what comes to mind? Why do you buy that which is not bread? Like, and I put it back.
So, we're gonna catch some scriptures in a bit, but you're right about that, because one thing that I use social media for is to make me accountable. I use that. Some people use social media for other things. So if I put on social media that I'm halfway through a floor, I know people are going to say, I need to see the finished product. So let's go ahead. Some people do part 1 of something, so they know that part, that part 2 needs to come about, or else, some of those type of things. And that's what I like about that accountability. But one of the things I want everyone who's listening now to recognize, that once you set a goal, it could be little progress. Celebrate the little progress.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes you don't get to the end of it, but you at least begin. That helps you with some other goals. The song that I love, a hymn that says, "Yield not to temptation, for yielding is sin." This is the line that I love. That says what? It says, "Each victory will help you. Some other to win." Right. I know that the song goes on, but what I wanted to say to everyone in this case is that think about the progress side of it. If you are having, and recognize what the progress is, so it'll keep you fresh. Marlena, it'll make you wake up in the morning when you have that list. That's why we need to have a second show, because we have not even touched habits yet.
Yeah, that's what
that formulates these goals, right?
I'm thinking about that as you talk about it, Pat, the difference between a goal and a habit, because a goal we look at as, okay, it happens, you check it off. A habit is something that you want to continue throughout, your and your goal could be to create a good habit. But I think that the habits are what also help us reach goals as well. So I mean, I don't know how far you want to go into the habit thing right now, but
but I do understand what you mean, because listen, gang, one of the things that that one habit that I'd love to have is a listening habit, not a goal of listening.
That's good.
A habit of listening. I find that
all of us could do that.
Yeah, I find that I talk a lot.
Yes.
The more that the more you listen, I don't like you, gang. I don't like you, gang. What I recognize is that you don't want that to be a goal. You want that habit to be able to help you with your goals. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that man, I tell you, if we got into habits right now, that'll take us a whole.
Can I share a quote with you? And it's not from the Bible; it's from a great thinker.
Oh,
that
no,
we
no, no.
all
I
have.
only do but biblical quotes.
Well, I'll be telling you. Okay. This comes from Aristotle, and I thought it was profound. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit."
Powerful.
It's a lifestyle. I mean, when you think about creating good habits, you're pretty much saying, what kind of lifestyle do I want to have? And what am I doing to create that lifestyle? And that's a question you have to literally ask yourself every day.
Sure.
I say I want to be healthy. Is being healthy eating this whole pack of donuts right now? Or is being healthy saying, I'm going to have a salad instead, or I'm only going to eat 2 donuts? You kind of have to ask yourself as you're, setting goals and setting good habits, what do I want for my life? And is what I'm doing right now coinciding with what I say I want for my life? And I always talk about this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, that I love, because one of the things I took away from reading that book is you have to decide who you want to be. And once you decide who you want to be, you have to ask yourself, and what does that type of person do? Like if you say, I want to be an author, GP, but you're not an author yet, but you want to be an author. You say, I'm an author. And as an author, that means I have to write.
That's right.
That means I have to, so you're dictating who you want to be and then letting your actions follow it. And I think that's where we need to start. Even though you're not there yet, tell yourself you're that. And then when you tell yourself you're that means you have to follow suit with the actions that coincide with that particular thing.
And I think we will probably do with this in part 2, because I know we're going to do part 2.
We have to go. We have to.
I was listening to a doctor who was sharing information about one of his patients. Very successful guy. Okay, had all the money he needed. Very talented. Had houses. He had yachts. He had anything. But he came to him and he said, Doc, I got all this stuff and it's really great, but I'm not happy. I'm miserable. I just, life does not seem to be what I thought it would be, even by having all these things and notoriety and so forth and so on. So I would just kind of draw a line between goal setting and happiness. And we can deal with that in part 2, because they are definitely tied together.
Absolutely.
Gang, can I just leave us with 3 spiritual points? Let me just be Tyler Farrell real quick without
all right, you gotta
he
do
ain't the only one spiritual on this show.
Yes, right. We all love you.
Well, there are protagonists and antagonists. You just find which one you're in.
It's 3 of them that got me. I know that there should always be some tie-in, and of course, I don't want anyone to leave without getting these 3. There, of course, all 3 is in Proverbs. Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans."
Amen.
In the same chapter, all 3 of these are in the same chapter, Proverbs 16. Go ahead and read through all of them, but it says in verse 9, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps."
Amen.
And the third one, which I said was all 3. 2 of them are 16. This one is in 19 that says, 19 verse 21, it says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails."
Amen.
I want us to recognize this one thing, that as we set goals, it has to be tied to what God wants for us.
Amen.
It's like our prayers, right? We'll never pray something that if you're tied with God, you're not going to be so selfish. All of our goals that we set is to make us better or someone else better. I think that's the angle that we need to go into. Producer, I don't know if we're going to go to a part 2, but
I think we should. I think we have enough to do that.
But in lieu of that, I would say ask our listeners to write in about their goals setting,
what are your
or
goals?
their difficulties or questions. I mean, we're not experts here. We're just having a conversation and sharing what we know.
We just read stuff
and what we're practicing.
Right. No. But that was really poignant what you shared, Pat, about even goals. we think about that book, The Purpose Driven Life, and any goal that we set. Well, first of all, we're all here for a purpose. And I think that's important for us to remind people, because I think that's a question we sometimes ponder, like, why am I here? What is my contribution to the world? When am I here to give back? Some people are still struggling with answering that question. But it's important to know, as Christians, as people who believe in a creator, we are not here by accident. God fashioned us specifically to perform specific things. And so it's important for us to rely on him to help guide us in what those may be. So if you're right now feeling lost about where he wants you to be, what he wants you to do, pray about it. Ask him to show you. I mean, I've seen God literally close certain doors that I thought were perfect for me. He's like, no, that's not what I have for you right now. And I've seen him open doors I never thought I would walk through.
That's right. Same here. Yeah.
When you're listening to him and you're in tune with him, it's not just a Bible verse, guys.
Right.
He really will guide your path. He really will show you direction to go. So
yeah,
I definitely think that's important. We probably should have led with that.
No.
But that's a good start.
Chuck led with alignment.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, it's great alignment. How can you just make sure that your goals are aligned with God's will?
Right.
And you have to know God's perfect will. I think, gang, we talked about this some time ago when we were on our election show, talking about our election show. Is it God's will or his permissive will? His perfect will or his permissive will? Sometimes we want his permissive will because it lets us do it. But we really should be aligning ourselves with God's perfect will. Excellent, Tasha. That's good.
And while just to do a little caveat on that, what Chuck was saying before about happiness, when you set your goals, are you really happy? When your goals connect with God, happiness is permanent, or joy is permanent. And so if you really want to be happy, you'll make sure that God is a part of your goal.
GP, I have a funny feeling GP has a saying before we
closing.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna push him.
It's dry right there.
I'm gonna push him because I have a book that's halfway finished and it gnaws at me. GP, just settle down. Even with your baby, I know you have it takes up a lot of your time. I am going to make sure, I'm not gonna pester you, but I'm gonna pester you that you finish that book. Get it done, because the second one is going to be easier than the first one.
And he's going to pester you while he finishes his book. So you guys can, pester each other.
And then we'll all celebrate you guys finishing your book.
I'm now turned this over to
we'll have an UpSetter book premiere party right here for our two authors.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, let's do it. Make it happen, guys. But no, this is great. Great. Thanks, Pat, for leading us out. I think it's so important for us to have these types of conversations, because the more we have these conversations, it helps me personally think about my goals, reevaluate some of the things I even have on my list. And we're hoping that for you, our viewers and listeners out there, it's helping you do the same thing. And we definitely think we need to do a part 2 where we'll kind of delve into how to make these goals a reality, developing the habits, tools to develop the habits we need to make things come to fruition. I think that's important. And so I guess next week, guys, we're doing a part 2.
Can we do it live?
One way our listeners can help us prepare for this show is tell us immediately after listening to the show. Write an email out and send it to us. And
hey, wait a minute. This would be perfect, Chuck,
guideline
for our listeners now to send to our digest letter.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Be excellent.
Thank you. Because we in season 3, guys, we're going to start entertaining some letters from you all, and this pretty much they're like Dear UpSet letters, in terms of, I have a situation, I need a little guidance, can you guys help me out with this thing? And we'll kind of give our advice on that topic.
We'll keep it completely anonymous.
Yes,
I mean, we respect your privacy and all of that, so don't be afraid to we're not
going to be seeking you out or anything like that. We're really here to help. This platform, one of our goals on UpSet is to be a vehicle where we can connect with others, help others. We're not just here to, just talk and banter back and forth. We want to be
gang, even if it means, sorry to cut you off, even if it means that if we should give it to a professional to look at.
Oh, absolutely.
So that we could bring it back, and because the only professional we really have on here is Marlena's.
What's that? Oh, healthcare professional.
No. But really, somebody may have a question. Somebody may have a storyline that we'll be able to help with. Thanks, Latasha. That'd be good. I'm gonna
Help
send my
us keep
letter
our
in.
jobs.
I'm sending my letter in.
Yeah, so please write us what you think should be in part 2, or put it in the comments. We'll see them and we'll make sure we kind of cover some of those. But if you have a letter that's just for us to address anonymously, you can also send it there, and we'd be more than willing to talk about it. All right, guys. Well, we want you to have a very prosperous new year.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Goals, and we'll talk about how to achieve those goals the next week. But for now, enjoy the beginning of this new year. We hope that God will guide you as you make decisions and go in his will. All right. See you guys.
Amen. Bye-bye, guys.